Rasmus Okafor had not mopped a floor in 31 years. Not since his uncle's small grocery in Rotterdam, where he worked weekends as a teenager and got paid in leftover bread and a little cash. He had almost forgotten what it felt like. The weight of the bucket, the smell of the industrial cleaner, the way your lower back starts complaining around the third hour. He remembered quickly. If you believe in kindness and second chances, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Corner. The company was called Farpoint Logistics, a distribution hub outside a mid-sized city in the Midwest, the kind of place that ships other people's products and rarely gets mentioned in business magazines. Rasmus had been its CEO for 11 years. He had grown it from 40 employees to nearly 400. He wore good suits and flew business class and gave careful speeches at annual reviews. He was not a cruel man, but he was removed from the floor, from the actual daily friction of the work, in ways he had stopped noticing. What pushed him to do this was a number rather than a feeling. In the past 18 months, Farpoint had lost 63 trainees before their 90-day mark. 63 people who had come in, trained, and quietly disappeared. Exit interviews said things like cultural fit and different expectations, which told him almost nothing. His operations manager said the floor supervisors were under pressure. His HR director said onboarding needed restructuring. Everyone had a theory. No one had an answer that felt true. So Rasmus Okafor, 54 years old, gray at the temples, called in a favor from his facilities manager. For 1 week, he would work as a contract janitor in his own building. Different badge, worn work clothes. The name tag said Ray. The first day, he arrived before sunrise on a Tuesday, October. The parking lot was half frozen, and the fluorescent lights in the loading bay gave everything a flat, greenish color. Nobody looked at him. The floor supervisors, who would have greeted him by name in the elevator 2 floors up, walked past him without a glance. He mopped the hallway outside the break room and listened to a senior coordinator loudly tell a new hire that if she couldn't keep up with the scan rate, she'd be replaced by Friday. The new hire, a young woman who couldn't have been more than 23, nodded and said nothing. She went back to her station. Rasmus kept mopping. Her name, he learned over the next few days, was Priya Mehta. She had started 3 weeks before, working the afternoon intake shift. She was quieter than most of the other trainees. Not timid exactly, but careful. She watched how things worked before she asked questions, which seemed to irritate her team leader, who apparently preferred fast answers over accurate ones. On Wednesday, Rasmus was cleaning near the back stairwell during the afternoon break. He had skipped lunch. There was no break room assigned to contract maintenance staff, technically, and he hadn't thought to ask about it. He was just tired and leaning against the wall, eating a granola bar from his jacket pocket, when Priya came down the stairs with her lunch bag. She stopped when she saw him, not in a dramatic way. She just looked at him for a second, the way people look when they're actually paying attention. "There is a better place to sit," she said. "Around the corner, past the sorting dock, there is a bench. Nobody bothers you there." He thanked her. She said it was nothing and kept walking. The next day, she brought 2 containers of food. She set one near him without making a production of it. "I always make too much rice," she said, and went back to her station. He sat on the bench she had told him about and ate dal and rice from a plastic container with a blue lid. And he thought about 63 people who had left. What he noticed about Priya was not that she was exceptionally heroic. She wasn't. She forgot to log a pallet transfer on Thursday, and her supervisor pointed it out in front of 3 people, and she went pink and apologized twice. She made small errors. She was learning. But she said good morning to the other janitor, a man named Wendell, who had worked there 9 years, every single day, and meant it. When a new trainee on Friday looked lost near the return station, Priya walked over and helped him without being asked, even though it wasn't her area. She didn't do it to be seen. She did it because someone being lost bothered her more than minding her own business did. By Friday afternoon, Rasmus had filled 2 small notebooks with observations that would never make it into an HR report. A floor manager who scheduled breaks at punishing times. A culture where asking questions was treated as weakness. A break room that hadn't been updated since 2009. 100 small discouragements that, stacked together, felt like a wall. He put the mop away for the last time at 4 o'clock, changed in the facility's locker room, and drove home. His back hurt. His feet hurt. He felt something he hadn't felt in a long time, which was simply that he had been wrong. Not about one big thing, but about the small ones he had trusted other people to manage and hadn't checked himself. He didn't call Priya into his office the following week. He didn't make a gesture or write her a letter. What he did was spend November changing 6 specific things: scheduling, break room access, how supervisors were evaluated, a simple 2-week buddy system for trainees, and the feedback forms that trainees filled out, which had previously gone to HR and were now going to him directly, unfiltered. If this story touched your heart, please leave a like and share it with someone who still believes kindness matters. The 63rd trainee had been named Marco. He had left after 18 days. When Rasmus looked at his exit notes afterward, it said, "Didn't feel welcomed." 3 words that had cost the company a person. Comment: kindness still exists. If you believe even one good act can change someone's life. Priya Mehta still works at Farpoint. She doesn't know what happened that week. She probably never will. She thinks of herself as someone who just brought too much rice one day and offered it to a tired man in the hallway. But that is the thing about ordinary kindness. The person doing it usually doesn't realize they were the only one. They don't know they were being counted. Rasmus does.